Hello and welcome to Humzabaan, your go-to destination for learning Urdu. My name is Tanzeel Rahman. In our previous lessons, we had looked at the Urdu alphabet. We looked at the alphabet groups, how the different letters form a group based on their shapes and based on their sounds. We also looked at the changing shapes when a letter is in the beginning and it is in the middle and it is in the end. Now, what we are now going to look today is what we call as AARAB, or the symbols, special symbols which can change the sound of a particular letter. This is again very important in Urdu because on the basis of this, the letter can actually behave like a vowel or it can behave like a consonant. So you can, when you put these symbols on top or below a particular letter, that can change the way that letter is pronounced. There are two types of these Arabs. We can call them Harakat, which are like movements, or we could call Sakanat, which are like pauses. I'll just take you through these one by one. We are going to cover some of them. First one that we will start with, we call it, if you can see on my screen, Mad. Now, Mad would come with Aleph. It always accompanies Aleph as a letter. So there are multiple examples. If you'd see here on my screen, this alif mad or mad symbol is this special symbol here, the one that you see here. Now this, we will see how it is used. So for example, we will say alif mad. The sound it gives is a. And alif mad a, mim am. Right, you see? So this behaves like a vowel. It provides a sound. And you will find the same example here. Alif mad a, dal mim dam, adam. All right. Similarly, you will see alif mad a, re alif ra, mim, aram. So mad is a special symbol, as again you can see here, which when comes on top of alif and it provides a sound a, like am, adam, aram. Right. So this is our first special symbol or Arab. The other one, and I think these can be used as short vowels. And the first one, what we call, is very simple. It's called Zabar. Why is it called Zabar? Because it comes on top of something. So, for example, if you see here, this is the symbol that you see here, the Zabar symbol here. It comes on top of a particular word. For example, it could be Be Zabar, and the sound will be Ba. It could be Dal Zabar, sound would be the. Now combined with dal, zabar and re, it will become dar. Similarly, kaf, zabar, ka, combining with lam, it will become kal. Be, zabar, ba, combining with seen, it becomes bas. Right? So the zabar is a short vowel, gives a sound when it is connected with any letter like dar, kal, bas. Many a times, we do not write it. When we are actually writing the word, we do not write zabar. And if it is not there, depending on the context of the word, we spell it even without its presence. But this is how zabar is used, right? Similarly, the next one is what we call as is zair. So if you see here, one we have called zair, and it appears, this is the symbol. It appears below a letter. For example, we can say be and we can put zair to call be. So it gives a sound, you can or e sound. So for example, you have gaf zair gi combined with re, it becomes gir. You have mim zair mi combined with lam, it becomes mil. You have dal zer di combined with noon becomes din. So gir, mil, din. Gaf zer gi, re gir, mim zer mi, lam mil, dal zer di, noon, din. This is zer. Another one that you will see as special symbol, we call it pesh. Now what pesh does, it gives us oo sound. The one that you see here. So for example, we say be, and we push this symbol called pesh, it will become boo. So for example, you have che pesh chu, Combined with noon, it becomes chun. You have kaf, pesh, ku. Combined with lam, it becomes kul. You have te, pesh, tum. Combined with mim, it becomes tum. So chun, kul, tum. Whenever you put this symbol on top of the letter which was otherwise would have been called ch becomes chu, or ka would have become ku. Right? So that's how you define these vowels. So zabar, zer, pesh combined together becomes short vowels in Urdu, right? Then we have another symbol which is called ulta pesh, which is like a pesh but reversed in its shape, or normally appears on top of vow. And what it does, that it provides the oo sound. So for example, dal, vow, and we put ulta pesh on top of dal, vow, it would become dur. Similarly, we have alif, vow, dal, alif, and we have an ulta pesh on top of vow, it becomes uda. Or we have alif, mad, a, re, ze, and vow in the end, and we have ulta pesh, it becomes arzu. Right? So this is a way for us to identify the oo sound which comes along with vow, and this is another symbol which is again very frequently used, and we can see it in the while we are reading. Another important letter is actually an alif, but we call it khada zabar, and it appears on top of a letter like an alif. Now, this comes mostly from Arabic, wherein there are certain words which are written with an j in end, or they're combined together, and alif is not written, but instead of that, alif is put on top of the letter. So, for example, you see, we have this word called starting with an, choti ye, seen alif. It's basically the word Isa. But when we write it as an, choti ye, seen, choti ye, and on top of choti ye, we put an alif or khada zabar, which gives it the sound of Isa. Similarly, you have ala. So you have alif and lam, alif. But the way we write here, you will see alif and lam, and then we put a choti ye and put an khada zabar, which makes it ala. Similarly, you have the word Rahman, and you have Re, He, Mim, Alif, Noon. But you combine Mim, while normally Alif doesn't combine with a subsequent letter. So what they do, they combined Re, Badi, He, Mim, and Noon and put Alif on top. It becomes Rahman. Now this again comes mostly from Arabic, this particular one. Then we also have another one, which we similar to this, we call it do zabar, in which there are two zabars which appear on top rather than single zabar. Now this is used to create a sound of noon in the end of a word. So for example, you have a word which is called taqriban, which can have te, qaf, re, choti, ye, be, noon. Normally it can have, but you do not use a noon. Instead of noon, what you do, you put te, qaf, re, choti, ye, be, alif, and you put this do zabar on top, and this gives it a sound called taqriban. Similarly, there could be a word called ghaliban, which is ghain, alif, lam, be, noon. And in here, in ghaliban, what you're doing, you're not using noon, instead you're using ghain, alif, lam, be, alif, and then you're putting a do zabar here, which makes it ghaliban. Similarly, you have another one called maslan. So you have meme, ideally, or otherwise you could have meme, say, lam, and noon. But instead of using that, you will sing meme, say, lam, alif, and then you're putting a khada zabar, which makes it maslan. So this is also used in words and can be considered to be written. Then another very important one is what we call as tashdeed. Now, what is a tashdeed? The symbol is like this. A tashdeed is wherein you have a double letter. So, for example, you have a word called sacha. Now, in this, you will have seen, che, alif. Now, instead of writing che twice, what you do that you put che once and put the symbol on top. which makes it sacha. Similarly, you have, say, another word called adda, where a dal is appearing twice. So instead of writing dal twice, you write dal once and put this letter to say that it is adda. Similarly, you could have another word called pakka, where there is two calves, but you're not putting two calves while you write. You put a single calf and you put this tashdeed to denote it is double sound. So we call it pakka rather than calling it pakka. Right. So this is another one which is used. Then there is a sound which we can call as representing a consonant cluster, or something where you pause or there is a rest. Now that comes from a word called jazm. The symbol is something like this. When you put on top of any letter, there is a rest. So which means that there is an absence of a vowel. So if you have dal zabar and re with jazm followed by a dal, then it becomes dard, and it doesn't become darad, right? So it becomes dard. Similarly, an with a zabar and re with a jazm followed by a sheen, it becomes arsh and not arash. Similarly, for example, you have vow with zabar, which makes it va, kaf with jazm, with followed by te, it becomes waqt, and it doesn't become waqat. So this is a way to show a rest or a pause when connecting with an absence of a vowel. Now, many times we don't actually write it when we write it, and we deem it to be understood. But for our purpose of understanding, we should know that there is a hidden jazm on that particular word, and hence we are pronouncing it in a certain way. Similarly, if we move ahead, we have a very important letter which is called Hamza. Now, Hamza, as we have also seen in our alphabet element, doesn't appear on its own. It appears with other letters. Now, it is basically a continuation of a vowel. There are two vowels together, then the sound would be Hamza. For example, you have to say Ai. Now, in Ai, we have got a choti ye followed by another choti ye. So we are going to put a choti ye with a Hamza on top, and it becomes Ai. Similarly, we have nae, so we will put noon. There's a choti ye followed by a badi ye, so we will, rather than doing that, we put a badi ye and put a hamza on top of it. Similarly, you have ghaib, and we put a ghan and alif followed by hamza and put a be. So this sort of a usage is there. Hamza again has many places, a lot of words that you could use to define hamza, but this is another important one which is available that should be using. So these special symbols that we are looking at are very, very important. We looked at, we started looking at right from the beginning with mad, which is alif mad. We looked at zabar, we looked at zer, we looked at pesh, we looked at ulta pesh or oo sound, we looked at khada zabar, an a sound with this. We looked at do zabar, which is giving us the un sound. We looked at tashdeed, which is like a germination or a double letter in a word. We looked at jazm, which is like a rest. And we looked at hamza, which has its own sounds. These would appear in different words. Again, we have a full chapter or a course with multiple subcourses on our app, Humzabaan app. You can go review it in more detail, look at the quiz, and get more understanding of these and how they appear and how the sounds change when they appear. Thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you again.